The Las Vegas Aces, the team that revitalized the modern day super team in the WNBA. They went from dominating the league, winning back-to-back championships, literally having teams craft their roster in order to beat the Aces. That same team that was at the top of the mountain when it came to the WNBA is now the team that did not live up to expectations this year, and is a team that's one by one falling apart in front of our own very eyes. This year, in the regular season, the Las Vegas Aces had their worst record since Becky Hammon became coach. They went 27 wins, 13 losses. Now, you all may say, what's the big deal? That's not that bad. Well, we're going to get into it. The reason for the 13 losses was partially because of injuries, right? But also because the Las Vegas Aces has not really evolved since 2022. And the WNBA has finally caught up to the Aces. Sure, the Aces still won games, but the Aces that we see now is a star personality heavy team that lacked the hunger that drives teams to actually be exceptional and win championships. Yes, this is a very talented team. However, they lost games they shouldn't have lost. They had some of the star players on the team did not show up when they needed to show up. And ultimately, they lose. So even with the MVP on their roster, even with a $1 million NBA coach, even with 6 Olympians on your team, the Aces lose in the semifinals, and their quest for a rare three-peat is now over. And the fallout has begun. So the first domino that fell was on October the 10th when Natalie Nakase, who has been with the team during their championship runs, she decided to leave her assistant coach role with the Aces and become the new Golden State Valkyries head coach. And now the second domino has fallen. On Saturday, October the 26th, the Las Vegas Aces announced that general manager Natalie Williams will not be returning to the team as part of a restructuring of the front office. Now, if you all don't know, Natalie Williams is an OG WNBA player that was with the W from 1999 to 2005. She played for the Utah Stars in her early days and then finished off her career with the Indiana Fever. And y'all, Natalie Williams was really good. She was a 6'2" center that started just about every single game that she played in the W. She finished as a 4-time All-Star, a 3-time All-WNBA player. She averaged 13.3 points a game and 8.3 rebounds a game in her career. Now, a fun fact also is that Natalie Williams actually won gold with the U.S. women's basketball team for the 2000 Sydney Olympics. So yeah, Natalie Williams was really good. And also she played at UCLA, and she was a really good basketball player then. She also did volleyball too, so that was kind of cool. Now, to be clear, guys, Natalie Williams has not been fired from the Las Vegas Aces. Her contract was up with the team, and they have opted to not renew. So in a press conference, so technically that is not a firing. Because her contract is over, I should say. And they're just not renewing it for, the next 3 years or so. In a press release, Las Vegas Aces president Nikki Fargas said, "We are incredibly grateful for Natalie's invaluable efforts in helping build the Aces into the premier franchise in the WNBA. Her time with the organization extends back to the league's formative years in Utah, and she will forever be a part of our history, having left an indelible mark as both a player and an executive. We wish the best for Natalie and her family." And also in the press release, Natalie said, "It has been a joy and honor to serve as the general manager of the Las Vegas Aces. Winning 2 WNBA championships with this incredible group of players and staff has been a dream come true. I want to thank Mark Davis and the Aces organization for the incredible opportunities to help lead this franchise. I love the WNBA, and it has been wonderful watching the growth of the game. I'm looking forward to what lies ahead." Now, guys, the thing to note is that Natalie was hired as the GM of the Aces in April of 2022. And during that time, yes, the team did go to win back-to-back championships in 2022 and 2023, but they also failed to get better through the WNBA draft. Now, here's some of the picks that they had in the draft. Maya Hollingshead, they drafted her in 2022 with the 8th pick in the draft. That same draft, you draft Kirsten Bell as the number 11th pick. Maya Hollingshead is no longer with the Las Vegas Aces. Kirsten Bell still is with the Aces. However, she has no real impact on this team. She barely plays. She has been injured at points, but she barely plays even when she's healthy. She just kind of rats the bench and has not really got her game to the next level as a player on the Las Vegas Aces team. So in a lot of ways, even though she's still on the roster, still not really making an impact at all with the team. They also drafted Kayla Pointer in 2022 with the number. The Aces also drafted Kayla Pointer as the number 13th pick as well. She did not make the roster. And this year, the Aces drafted 2 players that are pretty notable. They did not have a first-round pick, but they drafted Deasia Fair as the number 16th pick. She did not make the squad. They also drafted Kate Martin as the number 18th pick. She did make the squad, did play initially early on in the season while Chelsea Gray was still out. Once Chelsea Gray came back, Kate Martin resumed her position on the bench and basically never left from there. She is still with the team, but again, similar to Kirsten Bell, doesn't really play, doesn't really have an impact other than sort of cheering from the bench. Now, I wanted to go through that list because one of the roles of a general manager is to draft players, right? To draft for the future, to select players that can develop on your roster, so that way when the older players, retire or they get hurt or something happens, you have those younger players that you've been developing that can step in and make some stuff happen. And what we've seen is that there hasn't really been any real success from a draft perspective for the Las Vegas Aces. Even though they do still have 2 players still on the roster from the draft, it's still not good, I would say. But I would say one good thing that they did do is they did draft Elizabeth Kitley. Now, Elizabeth Kitley was injured this whole year. She will be with the team next year, and I think that will be the one and only excellent choice, because I actually do think she's gonna actually play significant minutes. I do think she's gonna play significant minutes next year, so we'll see. But I would say that's probably the best pick that Natalie Williams has done is picking Elizabeth Kitley in the 3rd round of this year's draft, knowing that she was going to be out this year, but knowing that they can have her as a huge force down low in the future. So not only did the Las Vegas Aces fail to grow through the draft overall, but the team, endured some scandal a bit, right? And they had a lawsuit from a former player, De'Erica Hamby, when she filed a lawsuit alleging discrimination and retaliation. And in the lawsuit itself, she named GM Natalie Williams by name. So you got that lawsuit looming over your head as a GM. Not only that, you also partially the reason why the Las Vegas Aces will not have a draft pick in the 2025 WNBA draft. The reason why is because they got their draft pick stripped from them because they were trying to circumvent the salary cap and was caught by the WNBA. And it was done allegedly because Natalie Williams allegedly agreed to pay for De'Erica Hamby's daughter's schooling. That was, put out on social media by De'Erica Hamby. So she basically told on the Las Vegas Aces when she was sort of going through when they would traded her and all this other stuff. Anyway, it came out to the light that that they were under the table trying to pay for her daughter's schooling. They're not supposed to do that. Natalie Williams, was caught doing that, or mainly because De'Erica told. Um, and as a result, we did see the Las Vegas Aces lose their first round draft pick this year because of that. So that's kind of over Natalie Williams' head too. So it's kind of been an interesting 3 years, 3-year stint for the team. You have a great season in 2022, 2023. You win another championship. You start to deal with this you're dealing with the scandal thing that's happening right now. There's a lawsuit that was finally filed in that case. So you win, you have some great highs with the wins, and then you get some not some great stuff with the scandals and whatnot. And also sort of failing to really capitalize on draft picks. And so while Natalie Williams leaving the Aces can be seen as overall not that big of a deal, to me, it actually is a big deal. It sort of shows a sea change that we are seeing with the Las Vegas Aces. And it signals that there are way more changes ahead, guys. Way, way, way more changes ahead. Because when we talk about the Aces, they have been the standard for the last several years, and they are no longer the standard. The Aces, we already saw they lost Natalie Nakase. Already talked about that. She went to the Golden State Valkyries. They just lost Natalie Williams, who they actually got rid of, not fired, but decided not to renew her contract. They also will potentially be losing another assistant coach, Tyler Marsh, as well. Tyler Marsh has been speaking with the Atlanta Dream and the LA Sparks about their head coaching roles. And so it's possible that Tyler may be headed to one of those cities to become a head coach. Now, with the expansion draft coming up in December, the Las Vegas Aces also need to make some decisions about their core roster. I would not be surprised if Kelsey Plum is not on the roster next year. She is a unrestricted free agent for 2025. And the Aces, they got to make their decision. What do you want to do? Do you want Kelsey Plum to remain on your team or not? Because you kind of have to break up the core. I think the main players that, they're probably not going to touch at all would be Asia Wilson and Jackie Young. Chelsea Gray probably is probably closer to a lock to stay with the Aces, but one of the four kind of has to go, in my opinion, for them to sort of really set a path forward, and it's probably going to be Kelsey Plum, in my opinion. And so they're going to have to make a decision about what to do for her, and whether or not they just want to leave her available for the Golden State Valkyries to pick up, or if they want to lock her down in order to get some sort of trade with the Golden State Valkyries. We'll kind of see what happens on that front. The Aces also need to make a decision about their center position, right? Kia Stokes, she is on an unprotected contract for next year. She is signed for next year, but she's unprotected. And at times this year, she's been a liability for her lack of scoring. And so you do have Elizabeth Kitley sort of still rehabbing and whatnot. And so she will be with this team next year. The question is, do you keep Kia Stokes or do you get rid of her and just roll the dice on Elizabeth Kitley sort of, playing possibly a starting role for the team next year? We'll see. Also, you have Tiffany Hayes, Alicia Clark, Sydney Colson. They're all unrestricted free agents next year. And so do you want them back on your team? This team is going to look very, 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 very different for next year. Kirsten Bell, another player. Do you want her on your team? Because she barely has played. She's a good player, but she doesn't really get any playing time. And so, if you're not going to play her, you might as well just get rid of her. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of question marks. And I really do think that there's a whole sea change for the Las Vegas Aces that has started already, is going to continue to come. We're going to see players leaving this team. We're going to see more, at least probably one more coach leave the team. And so, hey, they had their heyday already, and now their heyday is up. But yeah, that is the story, guys. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me and watching this video. Just wanted to let y'all know that, another change has hit another domino has fell for the Las Vegas Aces. What do y'all think about Natalie Williams? Do y'all remember her when she was a player? Do y'all remember? Like, I know some of y'all are like pretty new, so maybe y'all don't remember Natalie Williams when she was a player. But y'all, Natalie Williams was cold. She could play. Y'all, she was balling when she was with the Utah Stars. I'm just saying, she's balling. Anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Yeah, what do y'all think? Let me know in the chat below. I do have way more commentary coming up soon about the WNBA, about women's college basketball. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Thank y'all so much. And until next time, tell a neighbor, tell a friend that Quita Loves Sports is on the internet talking about some women's basketball, and tell them to come join along. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.